Dan and Corey here, welcoming you into Libservative.
The great fundamental issue now before our people. We, the people, cannot turn back.
Yeah, welcome in to another rousing rendition of Libservative, intellectual idiots fostering political and cultural literacy, and the world's smartest internet show. Bell the Body Snatcher on the ones and twos at his brand new multi-million-dollar home. He, as always, is Corey Walsh.
He's Dan Griffin.
And it might be a little bit of an abbreviated show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We do apologize. I'm just getting over a little bout of COVID that just kind of came out of nowhere. That was a little strange.
Goddamn Chinese virus, brother.
wasted my Labor Day weekend with the.
You got the Wuhan flu, huh?
Yeah, with the. See, I still have it. The brain fog and the fever and the.
All right, I guess I'll
exhaustion.
Welcome to Libservative. Corey here with Dan Griffin and Bell the Body Snatcher on the ones and twos, and we got a action-packed episode tonight.
You can just shut up, baby, because you hate America and you love abortion.
Well, Dan had brain fog. I was killing brain cells of my own up in my parents' campground.
It was a bad time to have it too, and not be paying
Labor Day weekend. Should have just went with it, raw dog it.
Not just that. I mean, that sucked, but also apparently, like, Donald Trump died. Like, while I had COVID.
Did you give Donald Trump the vid?
I don't know how I would have done that. I put it in an envelope and delivered it to the White House. I don't know how.
What is this, anthrax?
Yeah, it's just lick an envelope and send it.
Breaking news. Yeah, Griffin gave Donald Trump COVID.
Fucking Secret Services
Sneezed
knocking on my door.
And shook it.
Knocking on my door right now. Dude, that was a really funny Blue and On conspiracy,
Gideon.
though. I will say that the conspiracy made me laugh a lot, and it was interesting because it all, like, whenever these like weird conspiracies come out, like whether it's perpetuated by the right against somebody on the left or perpetuated by the left by somebody on the right, there's always like this weird overreaction to it. And it's not always like a visceral overreaction. They just make it seem like it's more ridiculous than it is, because the fact of the matter is Donald Trump was basically out of the public eye for a week. Now people saw him, like he was.
Was it a whole week?
Like,
or was it like the weekend?
It was like 6. It was like 6 days, like, without, seeing him speak in front of a camera, right? And Donald Trump is the kind of person that has never seen a camera that he doesn't like. So, like, people saw him, like, he was going to the golf course and things like that. Like, he obviously wasn't
like
dead.
minors.
But it was kind of reasonable to be like, the hell's going on? Like, it's kind of strange that Donald Trump hasn't made a public appearance in 6 days, which is all I thought about it. Like, that, I guess that is kind of weird. There's the whole weird thing with his hand that everybody was talking about. You see that picture?
Yeah.
He's got like the blotch on his hand. It's like covered with concealer that is not his skin tone.
Yeah. Is he a body double? Did he almost die? Or did he just heed advice from his boy Alex Jones and said, "Hey brother, you need to take a break. You need to relax."
Playing golf with his granddaughter or something, although I think that post might have been fake. I don't know, or something from back in June. But I do have.
Yeah, and I was listening to Breaking Points, and the way, like, I think granted, Crystal and Saga are both just humans like us, right? And like when I saw her talking about it, it's not like, oh yeah, I didn't like think like, oh, she's an idiot.
Oh, crash the dildo's back.
It's just, oh look, she's just a human like us, like when she was like, she sounded like almost excited that this might be happening. I don't know if you listened to that episode, but
I didn't. But now I'm interested.
And it was just like I know other people in my life were doing the same thing, and it's just like, guys, like, if the Democrats could hide, first off, if something did happen, right? If the Democrats could hide Biden for like 4 years, I don't think anything's gonna leak for 6 days with Trump and all these
They
little things. that you
insult
think
us
is
in an
evidence and
attempt
this
to
and that.
gaslight us, and we
I
will
don't know.
not stand for
They
it.
also, but at the same time, they did hide Biden from us for 6 years.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of doable.
Operation Bubble.
No, but here's the thing. You
But
could
like
not hide
in that thing, like it's just funny, right? Because you do see their political alignments every once in a while on the show. Because Saga sounded
Yeah.
a little bit more giddy when he was like being able to point to evidence that Biden was fucked up. And we won't find out until Jesse Waters writes a
Yeah.
book after Trump's out of office. But right now he's like,
I
he's
said-
fine.
Bell's
It's
got a
like
video
the
from Jesse
buzzword-
Waters.
Buzzwords were the same. It was just like, nah, he's the most fittest president I've ever seen in my life. He's doing great. And it's just like weekend at Bernie's Bernieing this shit. Like, I thought we
You
were
have
done
to
with the
admit-
weekend at Bernie jokes, Dan.
You're not going to be done with the weekend at Bernie jokes as long as we keep electing 80-year-olds to become president of the United States, right? Like, shouldn't that be the number one concern, that we just keep electing these late stage septuagenarians into octogenarians as they become president of the United States for 4 or in Biden's case, what could have possibly been 8 years? Had he actually run again and found a way to get reelected. I don't think that was ever going to happen, but
Very successful, very rich.
yes, there is an alternate universe where we could have had an 86-year-old Joe Biden as president. Okay,
You really
I don't
think that like that could be the root cause of just hiring old ass people into this?
well,
Oh, shit,
I don't-
buddy. I gotta dig a little deeper.
I don't want to say anything bad about boomers, but we all know I don't trust them. Trust them with
You trust your mother every night to fix your hot pockets and make sure your Game Boy is turned
either,
on.
brother. We got a game coming up this weekend.
Corey, this is going to become a running joke. You have an unbelievably uncanny ability to just talk right through the drops.
I know, it's because I have a quip. The drops have a quip. And
It's-
me personally,
it's just-
I think what I gotta say is better than that fucking senator. I forget his name.
That's Tim Burchett.
Yeah, Tim Burchett.
We might be
Right.
rooting for him here in a little
I
while.
didn't know that you were gonna do a sound drop. Maybe you should just fucking wink before you do it or something. I don't know.
We've been doing this show long enough, Corey. You should be able to read me by now.
You sure about that?
That time he didn't talk through it. He just interrupted it with another one. Let's get Jesse Waters up on the screen here. And now, before you play this, there is something within this video. I didn't even watch the whole thing. I don't know if we're going to play the whole thing, but he does bring
this guy's
up
eyes.
he is Manchurian candidate Tucker Carlson. That's all he is. He's just what Tucker Carlson used to be on Fox News, except a shittier version. And I'm not saying that to disparage Tucker. I actually quite like his podcast, although he has been talking about Jesus a little bit too much in his recent episodes. That's been kind of getting annoying.
I was just
You
going to
just
say,
about
this
to say
guy looks
that?
like he's going to be leading a mega church when he's done with Fox.
I don't like his eyes. He has these eyes like he thinks he's got you.
Yeah,
he
he's
thinks,
Bud-
like
I
he's
get
about
your
to say
eyes.
but he thinks he's about to say something clever.
He's just
But
a
what
talking
he's
head.
about to say is, I tie my shoes before I put them on to save the step.
He's just
And it's like what the fuck? What? Like, dude,
he is Bud Light Tucker Carlson. That's all he is.
look at the fucking banner. Trump is alive.
I didn't even realize that. I wasn't even paying attention to that. But he does.
Lazarus 2.0. He was Jesus 2.0. He wasn't dead for 3 days. He was dead for 6.
It's mega church vibes, dude.
Yeah. He does.
That's
He
the
does-
media spin right there, right? That's
that
that's the way they gotta actually sell it.
Yeah, there's gonna be like a contingency of Republicans that says that Trump actually did die but was resurrected
6 days later.
He's just Jesus. But he does play a video in this that's kind of important of Tim Walz, and I got to tell you something about Tim Walz at this point. He really is a scumbag. Like, he really is a fucking scumbag because he essentially roots for the death of Donald Trump. Say what you want. Like, usually there's a little bit of decorum when it comes to, like, we can make those jokes because we're just, commentator idiots on an internet show. But yeah, I mean, when you have the governor of a state basically rooting for the death of the sitting president, that's fucking new, dude. Like, that's just not something that we've ever really seen. I don't mean to be a pearl clutcher here, Corey, but it's not something I'm really in support of. Even if it's a president I don't like, which is essentially every president ever. So go ahead and roll it, Bell.
Trump's alive.
Trump's alive.
How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see you for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. I have heard
0.3% of the population.
Last week, I did numerous news conferences, all successful. And then I didn't do any for 2 days. And they said, there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. And it's also sort of a longer weekend, it's Labor Day weekend.
The president took Labor Day weekend off, and they thought he was dead. The left
So we haven't seen Trump since August 26th, which makes me think that Trump has died, and they don't know how to announce it, that he died.
Yo, rest in peace to President Trump, man. Crazy stuff going on. I did not see that coming this soon.
Dude.
Sooner the better, I guess, with him, but rest in peace, man.
Even Biden's people were getting in on the hoax.
The president has been very vocal with press all the time. I think in August, he spent 26 days at public events or talking to press. So to go down for 6 days and just have a slew of true social posts that are very chaotic and people can't follow all of them, it's very concerning. There could be actually something wrong. The problem is we don't know, and they're not being transparent.
That woman worked for Biden. She was the one who dressed up as the Easter Bunny and yanked him away from reporters. That woman.
Oh, got her.
Was dead. And Biden was alive. And it's not like Trump wasn't seen. He was seen going to golf every day. Biden went days without being seen. They never asked if he was alive. And we speculated
you guys did.
About Biden's
Yes, they
health
did.
a lot. But we never thought Joe Biden was dead. And we never
Yes,
wished
you did.
he broke
Well, maybe not you.
But Tampon was downright giddy thinking about it.
You get up in the morning and you
That's a clever one.
Through things, and although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime, just so you know, there will be news.
Timmy's scrolling through his phone, hoping to see news the president's dead. We wished Biden was alive, and they wished Trump was dead.
Trump's made jokes like
People
that.
were texting reporters asking if the president had passed away.
A whole lot of people on the internet convinced themselves that the president of the United States, Donald Trump, was in fact dead. It was everywhere. People I am friends with but aren't into politics were texting me asking if Trump had died. Just to be clear, let's get the good stuff.
Reporters bombarded.
No, Donald Trump is not dead.
How did that rumor spread with Trump, but not with Biden?
It did.
Democrats were convinced.
It
Over the
totally
weekend,
did.
Your whole
there was a
piece was
video
talking
going
about
around
body
of someone
bubble.
throwing stuff out of the White House window, and they said, see, contractors can't work at the White House while the president's there. He must be 6 feet under. Trump hadn't even heard about it. Our very own stupid son of a bitch, Peter Doocy, had to show it to him on the phone. Trump called the video AI.
So that's a fake video?
Well, it's got to be, because I know every window up there. In fact, my wife was complaining about it the other day. She said, love to have a little fresh air come in, but you can't. They're bulletproof.
So the White House says the video is real. So that must
So
not
that
be
means they
Trump.
can't
It
open?
has to be a body double. Well, someone was doing interviews over the weekend and
I don't know.
posting all night. Quote, 3 days ago, while admiring the stonework, I happened to notice a huge gash in the limestone. It was deep and nasty. Lo and behold, because of the fact that we've installed the finest security equipment anywhere, they brought back the stupid people with their boss watching in sunglasses. A subcontractor that was installing heavy landscaping.
What a disguise! Sunglasses
and tilting badly, with it rubbing hard against the soft, beautiful stone. Something like this should never happen. So Trump fired the contractor and banned them from the White House. So Trump did an interview, golfed, and fired people over Labor Day. He's very much alive. Joe Biden, barely there. Let me give you an example. Trump's replacing Biden's presidential portrait at the White House with a portrait of the auto pen.
Yuck, yuck, yuck.
That pen worked harder than Biden ever did, so it should be honored. Meanwhile, Trump doesn't stop. White House sources says he seems to wake up and say, what else needs to be improved? Every day it's something new. He's very focused on America's 250th birthday and cares a lot about making the city's fountains operational again. He cares a lot about the fountains, quote unquote. Trump's not dead. He's bringing America back to life.
He's doing yeoman's work. He's getting the work done.
Fetterman says the president's good taste.
The plans are going to be done in a tasteful and historical kind of a way. I mean, they're not putting in a Dave and Buster's kind of a situation here.
So the bottom of the barrel right there.
Upgrading some of these facilities seems pretty normal.
The only renovation Biden did was to the White House Situation Room. And when they found the cocaine, they blamed one of the workers. But they never fired the workers, did they? Trump worked so hard, they thought he was dead when he took a long weekend off. And I'm glad he did, because the fall is going to be a frenzy. On October 1st, government shutdown deadline. Putin-Zelensky summit, maybe. The battle over the Federal Reserve, RFK Jr. hearings. The National Guard probably going to Chicago. Maybe a war with the cartels. More on that later. Maxine Waters, no relation.
That'll be good.
Wants to stage a coup because the president isn't sleepy.
It is time to call for Article 25 of the Constitution of the United States of America to determine his unfitness, to determine that something's wrong with this president.
Trump is bringing so much change to Washington, they think something's wrong with them. Presidents usually just preside, they don't govern. And do Democrats have a plan to take on a man of action?
You know, you had a lot of online influencers who were jumping on this, grifting basically, trying to make a quick buck. You had other people
Stelter
pushing
get
these
back
ideas
on
for
there.
political reasons, promoting the idea that Trump was weak or frail and may not be with us for very much longer. It seemed to me that there are some liberals who just given up
fucking
on
told him,
challenging Trump
hey,
and are waiting for him to die.
how about
The
we
left
stop paying
strategy
you, but you can
boils
come
down
on
to
whenever you
this.
want? And he was like, deal.
They hope Trump dies. They did try to kill him or have him die in prison.
Who's they?
Now they're
What
just
a
hoping for
piece of
natural
shit.
causes.
No, I'm gonna stop that there, because it's so funny, because Jesse Waters did that thing where he's like, look at all these things Trump's doing. He's gonna send the National Guard to American
He's gonna expand the
cities.
federal government. He's gonna make the water fountains work.
Yeah, and he's gonna go to
just
war with
fountains.
cartels that the American government has basically propped up for the past 40 years, indirectly, in some way, shape, or form.
Directly
by-
and directly.
and directly. Yeah. And then the Tim Walz thing. First of all, did Tim Walz look like he had lost some weight?
Well,
And he takes the fat shot drug.
He did have some Ozempic chic going on there a little bit, I think.
He's just a knucklehead, dude, and he says
he's a
some
humble
silly
knucklehead.
things sometimes. But you know who? For once, someone I agree with. After watching them show like the best and the brightest from MSNBC with Maxine Waters, and then listening to that fucking dunce talk, like, did you learn anything at all pertinent? Remember, Dan, that's the news.
No, yeah, I know. It's just Jesse Waters
They
going,
don't
aren't
claim
these
to be-
Democrats so stupid?
They don't claim to be the world's smartest podcast. They don't claim to be entertainment. They claim to be the fucking news.
Yeah.
And for once, I'm going to agree with Scarborough
These
here.
idiots on cable news. It's just bullshit.
And Waters trying to pretend like nobody actually thought Biden was dead. Even there's fucking morons. I mean, maybe they didn't on Fox News. I don't remember. But there were enough morons of pretty high profile that were like
all talking about
"This
body
is a
doubles.
Body doubles. Yeah. Yeah. It's so, I don't know. I'm just like, whatever.
I know. And
It's so stupid.
There are people
It's
getting
so
hyped about
insufferable.
the same thing, and it's just like, you literally sound like the QAnon Republicans, man. This is the Blue Mega group, man. It's just insane to me. I don't know.
Yeah. They call it Blue Anon for a reason.
They insult us in an attempt to gaslight us, and we will not stand for it.
I had another example of how the flip script with this when it came to the recent thing when I was talking about sports. Sports and politics are always the same. You know what I mean? The way that the fan base react.
In politics is more like pro wrestling, but I see your point.
Right. Like the way the fans react and the banter and stuff like that. We talked about it like a week or two ago with the hammer ban, or like with the actual hammer coming down on Michigan. Remember me and Dad were in here wearing our fucking Michigan hats and out here like rubbing it in Ohio State fans' faces that like our team kind of got cut clean, but we didn't get it. And well, now the flip is script, or the script is flipped, and now there's all these rumors of a player who would be considered ineligible because he may have lied to the NCAA while he was a player on the team, and he may have done what the NCAA and their bylaws would consider misconduct with stealing stuff from a computer. And all of this would make him an ineligible player. And he played on the national championship team for the Ohio State Buckeyes. So they might get their wins vacated. And there are people who are trolling. But there are people who are out there now like using this as like a talk point in an argument. And it's just... what are we doing here, guys?
Dude, it's so funny. It's funny you say that because like when I argue about sports with like I have a couple buddies that don't give a shit about politics, right? They don't care. They might lean one way or the other, but they don't care. And we're arguing about sports. Do you have any idea how many times when having a sports argument, I have looked at my friends and been like, dude, this is just like arguing politics. Like there's absolutely no difference to the arguments that you're bringing to the table, because that's the whole thing. Is like when you talk about sports, you're talking about politics. People want to argue; they don't want to debate. So they get really mad when I'm just like, okay, man, and I walk away from the conversation because I'm the guy that's like, you want to have a debate? We can have a debate, but I'm not going to argue with you.
It's just
like,
what the fuck is
the point of arguing with you? It doesn't serve. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of your time. Yeah, I'm with you. And then you had Maxine Waters that goes, we need to invoke the 25th Amendment or whatever on Donald Trump, not because he's like wanting to throw the National Guard into American cities, not because
he's funding a genocide.
Not because he's funding a genocide.
Because he's expanding the government and surveillance to make between fucking Palantir and the Gideon thing,
the Gideon thing,
making
which we'll talk about a little bit later in the show,
which makes the Patriot Act seem like child's play. Not that he's completely thrusting some of our APAC, Asia Pacific communities into the arms of fucking communist countries like India.
APAC is the Israel lobby, Corey. I think you misspoke there.
No, they might say it differently, but it's like Asian Pacific something.
I don't know.
Countries. There's an acronym for those countries.
That's not it though. But yeah,
it's something. It's Asian Pacific something. Bal, go ahead and look that up.
It's gonna eat away at Corey.
Yeah, but I don't have time to look it up. But yeah, it's the Asian Pacific something countries or something like that. Anyways, or APAC, I think is what it is. The Asian Pacific Oceanic countries. APOC.
All right.
But anyways, yeah, like these tariffs, like tariffing allies when there's like, I don't know, dude. It's fucking wild. And no one and it goes back to the shit we used to say about Trump when Biden was in office. And everyone is getting dwelled on just the wrong bullshit. And
yeah, we need to invoke the 25th Amendment though, because his hand is turning white. That's why we have to invoke the 25th Amendment
one of the
on
colors.
Donald Trump.
One of the colors
Yeah.
that's in the
Yeah, it was bruised, and it looked like some makeup was put on it or whatever. But those are the reasons why. Those are the reasons why we need to invoke the 25th Amendment. Not because of anything that he's doing, any of the anti-American things that he's doing. Not because he doesn't want to release the Epstein files. Not because he's telling his administration is telling any Republican that votes for the the Epstein Files Transparency Act is committing a hostile act against not the United States. Nope, not the United States, the thing that would actually be considered something that would be awful, but because they're committing a hostile act against him and his administration.
Yeah, it's APOC.
Okay. I think we spent too much time on it. I got Corey distracted. I shouldn't have corrected him.
Well, I fucking said it right, and then you're like, "Oh, it's APAC."
Oh,
look,
you said
Liberty
APAC,
Picker
dude.
showed up. Bell's in the private chat. You know what I got? You know what I got for you, Dan?
You're gay.
Fine. I've been called worse.
Daddy, you're my daddy.
What do you think about this Epstein Files Transparency Act? It was a big rally today. I think it was today. Was it today or yesterday? I don't know. All the days ran together after I got over the vid. Yeah, I see it.
I didn't expect you to acknowledge it. I was just giving Liberty Twitcher his flowers.
The ADHD is taking over. Go ahead.
I was trying to think of an acronym. It's like, no, it's not ADHD. It's APOC. Damn, we just talked about this for 5 fucking minutes.
The Epstein Files Transparency Act, which is being brought to the fore by the single best congressperson in the United States, bar none, Thomas Massie, and then Democrat Ro Khanna, crossing party lines to come together to try to get the basically everything to deal with Epstein thrown out into the open. It's a very short bill. It's so short, in fact, that Bell read us the whole thing verbally prior to the show, and it took him less than 5 minutes. You know, the way that a bill should be. Do we want to? I mean, it is short, but it's long enough to be kind of boring. Just go read it.
Never mind informing the listeners.
Just go read it.
About
I mean,
the
honest to God,
entertainment.
I'm not doing your research.
Right.
I'm not doing your research for you.
All right, sorry, Jesse Waters.
I just paid $88.
to get a hold of all of that information.
I don't want to read it. If Bell wanted to read it again, then that's fine. But
I'll synopsize it.
All right, go ahead and
If you'd
synopsize
like.
it.
Is that a word?
I'm watching Bell over here in the green room drink a beer when he said he wasn't drinking anymore.
Not drinking tonight, at least.
He was like Alex Jones. He's like, it's killing me, brother. I just can't do it. I'm done. I'm done, Joe Rogan.
The Epstein Files Transparency Act is a bipartisan legislative effort introduced by Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna to compel the full release of unclassified government records related to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Here's a breakdown. This is just a breakdown according to ChatGPT. So we'll let ChatGPT tell you what it's all about, and you can read the full bill for yourself. What the act proposes: mandatory disclosure directs the DOJ, FBI, and U.S. attorneys' offices to release all unclassified files related to Epstein and Maxwell. The scopes of the records would include mentions of individuals, corporations, nonprofits, academic institutions, and government entities travel records, internal communications, and any documentation of destruction, deletion, or concealment of evidence. Did I synopsize that well, Bell? You can either pop in or give us a a head nod. That's what I thought. See, I knew it. I didn't synopsize it. ChatGPT did. So here's what's interesting about this. Let me go down to the signers here. So obviously you have Massey and Hannah are the two that are bringing this up.
Bipartisanship.
So it's going to require, as always, 218 signatures to be brought to the floor. Then you get a 7-day recess. And then Mike Johnson has to bring it to the floor within 2 days after that if you get the 218 signatures. So right now you have, hold on. Where did it go? Who signed this thing? 200 and no, you have 100. Was it 134 or 132 Democrats, and you have 4 Republicans thus far, and the 4 Republicans are the usual suspects. I think the people that you would expect. Marjorie Taylor Greene,
the Republican
Nancy Mace.
equivalents of the squad.
All the co-sponsors are in the private chat. It's not that many.
Yeah, Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Nancy Mace, and of
Nancy
course
Mace
Thomas Massey.
and Thomas Massey.
Those would be the 4 Republicans. So you have a situation here where you have Trump saying that anybody that signs this considers it a hostile act against him and his administration. And it's just like, it's really getting hard for anybody to defend Trump on the Epstein issue. Why is it so important to you that we don't see this stuff? That's not saying that Trump is definitely involved in any nefarious way.
Right.
But wow, it makes you ask questions, right? I mean, now it has to be.
The way he's trying to say it's a hostile act. Like, I think that's verbatim from the Trump administration.
Yes.
They call it a hostile act really makes it look like shit. You're trying to hide shit. Just like Macron and his wife suing Candace Owens over the allegation that his wife is a man. Dan, there is one Michigan. Don't look at the private chat. There is one Michigan representative that signed this, and I want you to guess who he is.
I'm gonna guess.
You should already know this.
Is it Shri Tanadar?
Yes. Yes.
The dog killer himself? The dog killer himself, Shri Tanadar. You know, he and Kristi Noem would probably get along. They really enjoy killing dogs.
I'm waiting for that cross the aisle collaboration.
Yeah, well, Kristi Noem's not in office at the moment. She's just in the Trump administration.
Dude,
so
I'm gonna use that as an argument of why the left and the right are the same.
They both love to kill dogs.
They both have dog killers. They both. Yeah.
Here it is. 200. Okay, so 134 signers right now. 130 Democrats, 4 Republicans. So if all 212 Democrats sign as expected, because for some reason, even something like this has to be a partisan issue, you would only need 2 more Republicans to break ranks. And so the question becomes, which 2 Republicans are those going to be? You could look at Chip Roy from Texas, a little bit more libertarian leaning. He's a little bit skeptical of government secrecy. He's supported similar disclosure efforts in the past. I don't know who you look at after that. I mean, you could look at maybe Tim Burchett, our guy that doesn't trust mothers to turn on Game Boys and heat up Hot Pockets.
You trust your mother every night to fix your Hot Pockets and make sure your Game Boy is turned on.
That's correct. Tim Burchett.
Josh Hawley, is he? He's a representative, right? He's not a senator. He's a representative, right? Oh, wait, no, he actually might be a senator.
Yeah, Josh Hawley's a senator, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm blanking on that, but yeah.
Isn't it wild how like the Senate and I think it has nothing to do with IQ or anything, but just because it's just a smaller group of people, it just never seems as much of a raucous bunch as like the House does.
Well, there's less of them, and there's more boomers in the Senate still, because they worked their way up to get that high-powered Senate position. You could look at Andy. You could look at Andy Biggs from Arizona, Ken Buck from Colorado. They have histories of going.
Where's
against
Alyssa Slackins?
Alyssa Slackins, a senator.
Fuck.
But even if she were a rep, she's a Democrat, so it wouldn't matter.
Right, but they need 218 votes, but you're talking about in the House, but you're talking about only half of the Democrats voting.
No, all of the Democrats.
You need the 100 like the House has like 427 people in it.
Understood. Then there are 212 Democrats. All of them are expected to sign on to this. You already have 4 Republicans, so you only need.
So this list, okay, so they're still deciding on it. You're saying that, like, dominoes are going to fall. It's like a draft right now.
Right. I'm looking for the 2 extra Republicans that are going to break ranks and come over and sign this thing. Chip Roy is of high likelihood, if anybody, or it could be Tim Burchett or Andy Biggs or Ken Buck or Jeff Van Drew from New Jersey. I don't know. Not that I don't think you guys even know who any of these fucking people are.
I feel like we're talking about signing people to our team. You know?
Yeah, I want a guy named Chip Roy at wide receiver.
Hey man, that's sweet. That's a good name. That's a good wide receiver name.
It's almost as good as Tesla.
But not as good as Bryce Underwood.
Yeah.
He's a quarterback.
Yeah, the interesting
Joe Montana was a quarterback.
Crazy asshole. I'm a Joe Montana. The interesting thing about this, though, is that Massey, to this point,
naming football players. Sorry,
Thomas Massey. That sounds like a football player. He's not whipping votes on this very aggressively. I find that a little bit interesting. I mean, what is he? Is he banking on moral pressure? I mean, that seems to be the going explanation for this.
This is one of those votes that if it fails, then it's like, well, we're back to where we started. But it's one of those votes that just gives you kind of a moral caliber on where everyone's at on this issue in the representative.
And Marjorie Taylor Greene, I still find her so interesting on this issue because she just won't touch the Trump angle of it, but she is absolutely, I mean, she is fucking 10 toes down for transparency on this issue. And
she
I
is,
don't know.
What I think, I think it might be a part of it. She's kind of like being like a bit of a political mastermind here, right? Where she's not actively like calling out Trump like individually, but she's also not like saying that he's like not a part of it. She just keeps saying she wants to get to the bottom of it, because if it flips in the way that she probably really hopes that Trump is somehow maneuvers his way out of it, like old Teflon Don, and then she can say, I never came after Trump, I just wanted all the other names. But if it does go to Trump and it's Trump's downfall, it creates a power vacuum in like the House, the Senate, everything. And she's going to be one of the ones that's going to be able to say, I actually stood up against this from the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, everyone else just was silent about it.
She's always stood on her principles. I mean, even crazy Marjorie Taylor Greene from 4 years ago that you and I sat on the show and made fun of vehemently. And in a lot of ways, I still think she deserved it, even back then.
100%.
Especially back then. But
a broken clock is right twice a day.
No. And it's not even just that. It's like, I still have so much more respect for a congresswoman like Marjorie Taylor Greene, that even if I think she's a nutcase, that stands on actual principles, than I do for some nobody
Wishy-washy,
representative that I've never heard of.
Like a Sri Tanadai. The only reason we know his name is because we're from Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, is she performative? Yeah, she's always been performative. The whole fucking standing up during the State of the Union, screaming with Lauren Boebert.
You can vehemently disagree with somebody's principles, but you will always know where they're coming from if they are a principled person.
Correct. Yeah, and that's kind of the way. That's kind of the way
I guess that's the way I feel about her. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other.
I'd rather deal with her than a Fetterman or a Sri Tanadar, since we keep bringing
right.
him up.
The other thing,
or
you
Mike
have
Johnson.
Why do Sri Tanadar has just been pulled so many times on this episode? the other thing you have to give MTG credit for through this entire process of the Epstein Files, back when she even had the ability to kind of do it, she's never stood on like a soapbox and tried to like quote unquote put this on Democrats, right? She's never said it's the evil Democrats that are blocking this. You know, I mean, she didn't really have an ability to do that because Trump's been president. But there have been plenty of people in the pro-Trump crowd and the people that are close to Trump or just love Trump that have they've brought Democrats they've fiddled with all the evidence and they fiddled with all the flight logs and they've changed a bunch of stuff and that's why it looks like this looks so bad on Trump. Marjorie Taylor
But then
Greene
why are
hasn't
you
done any
sending
of that.
out shit all redacted anyways?
Sure,
now it's yours.
Marjorie Taylor Greene hasn't done any of that, even from the beginning of this. At least not that I've seen, unless somebody can point it out to me. I'll be happy to listen or to read it. But she hasn't done any of that, even when she had the ability to do that. She could have done that. She could have like snuggled up to Trump and been like, "Sorry, Daddy," and she didn't. She hasn't done that.
Daddy,
yeah,
you're my daddy.
The drop part. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, she didn't do that. She hasn't done that. I don't care if you are the most dyed-in-the-wool, Obama-loving, Biden-defending Democrat. You have to give Marjorie Taylor Greene credit for that.
Yeah.
There's no world where she doesn't deserve credit for that. So I hope this thing gets through. I hope this thing gets to the floor. I hope enough pressure is put on just a couple of Republicans to sign on to this thing. And we actually get to see some stuff. Am I confident that it's going to happen? It's government, man.
Okay.
I'm never confident anything's going to happen.
So I'm not going to put
anything good anyway.
I'm not going to be able to put a name to any of these representatives. But do you think, which is more likely? Do you think it's going to be like a deep red Republican who is surrounded by like QAnon people? Or is it going to be a more like purple state Republican who also needs to garner Democratic votes if all the Democratic people from the state are signing on?
Dude, it could go either way. I don't think it's because
right. That's
what's
crazy about the Epstein list shit.
No, because if you look at it, if you look at the names that are being thrown out there of people that could possibly do this, Chip Roy, Texas, deep red state, but a more libertarian leaning congressperson.
God, he's the one whose voice sounds like something out of a cartoon, right?
I think so. Well, I think they all kind of sound cartoonish, but then you have Jeff Van Drew. Jeff Van Drew's from New Jersey. That's a blue state.
That's a blue state.
And you have Tim Burchett, Tennessee, red state. You have Arizona, kind of purplish, but actually a little bit more blue these days. And then you have Ken Buck, who's from Colorado.
A very purple state.
That's a very blue state.
I guess you're right. Yeah,
they're all Republicans within blue states. So none of these are
thanks gerrymandering.
Yeah, none of these are QAnon people. Like, honestly, like there really aren't any fucking QAnon people in Congress. I mean, you could have made the case for Marjorie Taylor Greene a couple years ago. Lauren Boebert's a moron, so maybe a little bit, but like,
yeah, the other ones kind of got flushed out. Who's what's the guy who's got a show now on was it Newsmax? The fuck's his name? The Botox boy. Not Eric Swalwell, but the Republicans version.
Young
Talking
guy.
about Matt Gaetz?
Matt Gaetz.
Matt Gaetz, a principled guy.
Yeah, but he was pretty QAnon, wasn't he? Wasn't he kind of wrapped up in that whole?
I don't remember anything like
And
that.
there was like Michael Flynn who got.
He was portrayed that way. Remember, Matt Gaetz was portrayed as a kid diddler and all that other stuff because he was speaking out against the establishment mostly.
Yeah, but I think he also did have to actually like
Answer
a minor.
He had to answer to that. Yeah, it turned out to be not extraordinarily credible.
You're saying he got Brett Kavanaugh?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
He was super pro-Trump before sort of being super pro-Trump was cool in the Republican Party, if you will.
Yeah. General
he was one of
Michael
the first
Flynn
ones.
definitely got the QAnon shit going, and then he got booted.
Yeah, they're not really there. I mean, most of them just. I mean, look no further than what Trump has become. I mean, he really is in any meaningful way just another establishment stooge.
QAnon feels like a fever dream at this point, doesn't it?
Yeah, because it was moronic, and everybody knows that. It was just everybody knows that. Nobody takes it seriously.
Very profound, very true.
Nobody ever took it seriously.
Well, no, there are people that took it seriously.
Yeah, people that were in QAnon. Did you watch Into the Storm or Into the Storm or Into the Hole
Yeah,
or whatever
Q
the hell
Into
it
the
was?
Storm. It's been years.
Yeah, it was.
Remember all these
listen,
people when they go to him after they fight, it was all fake, and they're just like, I guess I'm just gonna get back to just working on my Chevy. Like, it's like, all right, good.
what did you think about this Chorus Media Toolkit leak story?
Well, it wasn't necessarily a leak, right? It was just something like it wasn't like a whistleblower. Just someone like shared the contract information.
That would be just an absolute crackerjack, wonderful, beautiful reporter, Taylor fucking Lorenz, that I can't stand. I don't think I've ever trusted anything that she's ever put out there. However, this one does mostly appear to be real. However,
Black is right twice away, Dan.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So Taylor Lorenz wrote the piece in Wired stating that Chorus Media was paying $8,000 a month to promote pro-democratic messaging while having the same influencers adhere to strict confidentiality agreements. She uncovered that this may have been funded by the 1630 Fund, which has been labeled sort of this quote-unquote liberal dark money group. And some of the content restrictions included discouraging the influencers or content creators from criticizing Democrats or discussing controversial topics like Israel-Palestine. She also implied like a blurring of lines between activism, journalism, and influencer marketing when sort of political topics were involved. And here's the thing, man. To be honest, to be completely truthful with you, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about any of it. And I'm going to tell you why. If you've ever listened to 5 minutes of David Pakman or Brian Tyler Cohen or any of the other influencers that Taylor Lorenz named in this article,
you could tell it's not authentic.
You can see with your own eyes that they're spewing party talking points. So imagine if some libertarian, quote unquote, dark money agency somewhere came to us, doesn't exist, but if it did, came to us and said, Corey, Dan, Bell, Libservative, we'll pay you guys $8,000 a month to say really nice things about Ron Paul and Thomas Massey. Corey, are we walking away from that money or are we taking that money?
I'll take that money.
We're taking that money. Fuck yes. Why? Because you're going to pay us to say the shit we were going to say anyway? Sure. I'll take the $8,000 a month. That is what so much of this is, right? Like, Jen Psaki didn't get a job after she left the Biden White House at MSNBC because they came to her and said, hey, Jen, we're going to give you this job, but we're gonna really need you to say some nice things about President Biden when you come. Do you think you can handle that? No, they brought her in because she was already gonna say those things, right? Like that's how most of this works. They're not going out there and recruiting influencers that have nothing to do with anything that they want to say, nothing to do with anything that they don't want to say, and just paying them not to say it anymore, right? Like
Dan, are you saying that none of these type of dark money groups are going to reach out to us and be like, hey?
I would seriously doubt it.
They have bullshit.
It's like Chorus Media isn't reaching out to Tim Pool, right? And offering to pay him $8,000 a month.
The Russians are.
I was going to get to that. Oh my God, yes. I was absolutely going to get to that. But they're not reaching out to Tim Pool. They're not reaching out to Charlie Kirk and paying him $1 million a year to stop saying mean things about Democrats, right? Like, I don't care about any of that. You can tell that it's fake. You can tell that it's totally canned. You know, whether or not it's in a contract that they can't say certain things or that they're supposed to promote certain other things is almost irrelevant because you can tell that it's fake to start with. That's why I kind of don't give a shit about this. Am I happy that it was transparent? Am I happy that Taylor Lorenz released this stuff? Yeah, I want to know. I want to know, but like, I'm not going to be outraged about it.
I was thinking about it too, and it's kind of scary, right? Like, or not necessarily scary, but it's just like I picture the guy when he gets killed by the raptor in Jurassic Park, when the one is being bait and he turns and looks and he goes, "Clever girl."
Yeah.
And it's like, when we only had a couple channels of like media where people got their information from and like their entertainment, it was easy to control, you know, and it was all about either whether it was government influence or just straight up ratings. You say something controversial that's going to piss people off and hurt your ratings. The big guys up and the guys with the cigars in the top room are going to say, hey, don't say that anymore. You know,
you know what?
This is almost like, and they don't because of the paycheck. Right. And now here you got these people that are just, it's the internet generation. You got millions of people out there, us included, who are trying to make a living out of doing this shit. And
very successful, very rich.
You got someone walking up to him and being like, hey, yo, $8,000 a month. Keep doing what you're doing. You're already saying what we like. Just
we'll prop you up
first. We'll just run it by us first. We want to have like, in exchange for this $8,000, you're going to help us control the narrative.
Yeah. And we'll prop you up. We'll promote you. We'll do,
maybe. I don't even know if
marketing stuff.
I don't even know if it just went that far. Really, they were just getting paid $8,000.
No, but that $8,000, that's, what is that? $96,000 a year, whatever the hell that is. That helps you. That helps you get advertising. That helps you develop marketing, right? It helps with all of that stuff. Trust me, we know it's tough out here for a pimp. So. The only thing that I would mention is that, like, maybe Chorus Media is out there getting sort of lower level influencers and financing them and marketing them to a level that they may not have been able to get to otherwise, but they're still spewing the same thoughtless, low IQ, 2 weeks to stop the spread bullshit. They don't add anything to the discourse, and they're all siloed off into these coastal elite echo chambers anyway, and everyone sees that it's all phony from the jump. So I don't. Here's the thing that concerns me. We, on this show, on many other shows that we enjoy, that we even take content from and share again on our show, whether you're talking about Breaking Points or you're talking about Glenn Greenwald, I mean, you want to go right wing, even what Tucker Carlson's become, what Jimmy Dore is, left, right, doesn't matter. My concern, not necessarily with people that have money, like the Tuckers of the world. He's going to do whatever the hell he wants, and God bless him for it, right? But people that are trying to get to that next level, that are trying to make a decent living doing this and, talking about the things that are important to them. My fear is that becoming what cable news is today, right? Because that is kind of the next step here. We have talked about how great independent media is, how much we love it, how much we want to be a part of it. But there are really, really smart people, really, really smart business people that go, cable news isn't working anymore. It's working on the boomers. Yep, it's working on the boomers. We'll keep it around for a little while and make the little bit of money off of it that we can from the boomers selling them fucking Depends or whatever the hell the advertisers are these days and My Pillows and shit. But we got to get in on this. So what is to stop independent media through things like Chorus Media becoming what cable news is today in 10 years, in 15 years?
Oh, that's the trajectory.
In 20 years.
That's
exactly where we're going. That's exactly where we're headed. Whatever it is, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, for it to become that is the trajectory in which we're headed. The thing that's very, very important is that we keep it independent so people like you and me, so people that actually have influence, like the Tucker Carlsons of the world, like the Breaking Points of the world, can at least continue to do what they do so that the real honest discourse can actually be heard. If it's turned into a thing where in 5, 10, 15 years, everybody just becomes these small little echo chambers of Fox News and MSNBC online, that's the fear. That's the thing. That's why
we're already
that's why
when it comes to that.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. On the left and the right. 100%. The only difference between the left and the right is that the Charlie Kirks and the Tim Pools and the Ben Shapiro's and the Matt Walsh's of the world, they genuinely started from nothing being independent, and then they were kind of dragged in. I think what you're seeing on the left is more
it's
what
inorganic.
Media is doing,
but when
and
there's
pulling
so
them up.
much, like that's just it. They still don't fucking get it.
Right. They don't even see what they're doing.
What they're doing is they're spending all this money trying to find their Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
When they fucking had Joe Rogan.
They already had Joe Rogan.
The guy said he was gonna vote for Bernie. It's just they want a Joe Rogan that's not gonna vote for Bernie, but vote for their elitist bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, so like, am I gonna throw a fit over this? No, I'm not surprised, and I'm not even necessarily. I mean, I'm offended by it, but like, whatever.
Yeah, why hasn't no one approached us yet, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not offended by that because I wouldn't want to take their fucking blood money anyway. But and then you look at the fallout, right? You look at the fallout from this Taylor Lorenz piece, and it's just the same old song and dance. She tries to, I don't know what her motives were. I don't really give a shit. But, she tries to call out these sort of Democratic talking heads in quote unquote independent media. And what's the fallout that she gets in return for that? She gets, she's calling out LGBTQ and black creators. They're being attacked by her. So they just turn right back to the racism and bigotry angle. Blah, blah, blah. When that's clearly not what this was about. When the highest profile names were the likes of David Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen. And so, listen, I'm no fan of Taylor Lorenz. Just look at her past. not contacting sources that she said she had contacted, stealth edits without proper disclosure. This is all
people.
This is all stuff that's known. Yeah, doxing people, exploiting a minor for clicks when she was amplifying posts by Kellyanne Conway's daughter. When the girl was clearly going through some shit. I'm a fan of Kellyanne Conway, but her daughter didn't fucking do anything to me. Using her quote unquote womanness to gain access to teens' DMs for stories. She admitted to that. I have no respect for Taylor Lorenz. I'm still glad this is out there. I'm glad she put this out there. I can't believe she talked to Glenn Greenwald. Because Glenn Greenwald called her out hard for a lot of the COVID shit. I mean, dude, I got a tweet from her. This is from December 2nd, 2024. This is not that long ago. So Taylor Lorenz put out this tweet. Planning a COVID-safe book launch took months and thousands of my own dollars. I think she was talking about something that happened in the past, so let me just put that out there. But she said, planning a COVID-safe book launch took months and thousands of my own dollars, ensuring testing, outdoor space, far UV lights, and a litany of other precautions. Meanwhile, you dumb fucks are out here raw-dogging the air and spewing your disease-laden breath all over your elderly neighbors. We are not the same. This is the kind of person she is.
She said that in 2024?
No. She tweeted that in 2024. I think she may have been talking about something that happened earlier. But either way, dude, like this is the kind of person I don't think she's a good person. I just don't think she's a good person. I don't think she's an ethical journalist. I don't have any high respect for her whatsoever. I'm still glad she put this out. However, I'm also not going to throw a fit over the things that she discovered. I don't know if you have anything else to add.
No.
I have something else to add.
Because now it's going to make me question every single person I see on any sort of social media outlet that, like, when I used to like them, then all of a sudden there's little dog whistles and their narratives are changing about shit. I'm going to be like,
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like,
bro?
You can't even say that about somebody like Kyle Kalinske, who I think has completely fucking lost his mind over the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I know. It's frustrating.
But it feels genuine. Like he's lost his shit, but it feels genuine.
You notice they don't really have him on breaking points anymore. At all.
Crystal's got him locked in a closet somewhere.
Is his show still pulling? I mean, obviously his show is pulling way more numbers than ours, but
it's definitely declined. It's definitely not what it used to be. Like he's never going on Joe Rogan again. Or at least not anytime soon. I'm not going to say never, but
no, like, yeah, he burned that bridge. He talked a bunch of shit about him.
Yep. Oh, I did have one more thing to add. The fact that everything that Taylor Lorenz pointed out, and I'm not saying that she was like avoiding putting this out there because it's already been put out there, but just like for context, this shit happened on the right already almost exactly a year ago. Corey, you mentioned it a little bit earlier in the show. We already went through this almost exactly a year ago on the right, lest we forget the Tenet media scandal, where RT was allegedly orchestrating a $10 million covert funding scheme through a Tennessee-based company called Tenet Media, where influencers involved were paid to amplify U.S. domestic divisions. Tim Pool, Dave Rubin, Benny Johnson, and others. Now, they came out and defended themselves, and I believe them, right? When they said, obviously, they didn't have any idea that this money might have been coming from RT. But the point is, they were paid to say the shit that they were going to say anyway. Just because it helped, or was an asset to whatever RT or whatever Russian state media was trying to push is irrelevant. They were going to say those things anyway. So it's no different on the right. Almost the exact same thing happened a year ago for influencers on the right. So just had to throw that context out there for people that want to go, oh, Democrats are so bad. Yeah, Democrats are bad. So are Republicans. The government is your enemy. not your Democrat or your Republican neighbor. And I'll drink to that.
I was looking up. I can't even find Crystal, Kyle, and Friends.
Did they stop doing their show?
They must have.
I told you, she's got him locked in a closet. She took his balls and she locked him in a closet.
No, there was an episode on Sunday. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I'm not listening to that trash, but yeah. What do you think about this this Gideon stuff, man? Minority Report is here. Like, it's actually maybe coming.
No, this is literally Minority Report.
I mean, they don't have like 3 people trapped in a basement somewhere who can predict the future. But other than that, they've just replaced that with AI instead of actually having something that was. So Aaron Cohen, who is Bell's pulling up the video now. Aaron Cohen, who is Aaron Cohen? He is an Israeli special operator. Oh, I got some hiccups coming on. Ooh. He's an Israeli special operator who spent much of his career specializing in counterterrorism. Now, what is he doing? He is using, make no mistake, he is using the Minneapolis shooting to scare you into handing over more power to the state and, in turn, the oligarchs that actually run the state. Did I miss anything there,
For
Corey?
a buck. For a buck. He's making a buck.
For a buck.
He ain't doing
So
this for free.
He was on Fox News. I think I don't remember when this was. When did the shooting happen? All the days are running together. It was sometime late last week or early last. It doesn't matter. Recently, he was on Fox News. Go ahead and roll it, Bill. It's a pretty short video. I think it's like 45 seconds.
Trace, as you know, correct, 100%, and she's 100% correct. I am now about to launch Gideon, America's first ever AI threat detection platform built specifically for law enforcement. It scrapes the internet 24/7 using an Israeli-grade ontology to pull specific threat language and then routes it to local law
What
enforcement.
does that mean?
It's a 24/7 detective. It never sleeps, and it's going to get us in front of these attacks.
Would it have picked up on this, do you think?
100%. I wish my program would already be up. We're not launching until next week. I've got a dozen agencies on board, Trace. I just unloaded a major Northeast agency with over 2,700 sworn. This is America's early warning system.
Lieutenant
Trace, you know, correct, 100%, and she's 100% correct.
What does that mean, Dan? You know what that means? We're fucked. We're cooked.
Dude. So first of all, he uses the term ontology in Israeli grade ontology. Do you know what this term means, Corey? It's like he was just using big words. Ontology is a branch of philosophy that studies the nature of being. So it uses an Israeli nature of being. I mean, I don't want to be one of these like conspiracy theorists, but like, come on, how does that sound? I think he just tried to use a big word and didn't really know what it meant, but I could see how some people could take that and make it mean something.
Simple terms, ontology is the study and categorization of things that exist or have being, both in philosophy and in information science. It explores questions about the nature of reality and existence. In computer science, it involves creating a structured system of categories, terms, and relationships within a specific domain to organize knowledge and enable machines to understand and use it. So that's probably what
it has another meaning in computer science. Then okay, that makes a little bit more sense. But you could see how somebody might take that and turn it into some like anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, right?
Right.
It's just like the words that come out of people's mouths. I swear to God. So Corey, what are we using to promote this dystopian nightmare? Survey said dead kids. Ding, ding, ding. It's disgusting.
It's a damn shame.
It's disgusting. And it's fucking terrifying.
Well, what it comes down to really is freedom versus security. You know, and how much freedom are you willing to give up for the false sense of security?
Yes, it's like security from what?
Because
Certainly
unless
not
you're
security
gonna
from the
have,
state.
unless
Serve
every single
neither.
person, unless we're gonna get to such an Orwellian police state that every single person has a police officer by their side, making sure that you're not doing anything and is there to protect you from anyone else doing anything if their officer fails to do their job. Short of an absolute police state, there are risks involved in day-to-day living in a free country.
Say goodbye to your right to privacy. Say hello to pre-crime. Say hello to thought crime. Say goodbye to the Fourth Amendment. You know, like he is trying to get people to come on and pilot this program. And by people, I mean law enforcement
Municipals?
agencies. Yeah, law enforcement agencies.
Yeah.
It's an absolute violation of the Fourth Amendment.
Is it though? I mean, is it because they're going to be going based off of stuff you put on public domains?
Sure. But you're still charging people for a thought crime. If I say something hateful about, I don't know,
Oreos.
Let's say I'm a high school student and I say something really, really hateful about the kids at my school and how I wish they were all dead. Like, think about how a teenager thinks, right? And I say something like, I wish they were all dead. You don't think that this program could consider that a threat?
Yeah, see, so that's the tricky part. Like, that's the scary part.
Just because I wish they were all dead doesn't mean I'm going to go and unalive them. Right?
Florida motherfucker, I'm assuming that's what the MF stands for, says thought crime is not a real term. Stop trying to make it happen.
What?
Well, I mean, it's
yeah,
because like,
it doesn't exist yet, but
right.
it will under
Yeah,
this.
That's the whole point.
That's kind of the point.
Thought crime. Yeah, the whole point is like getting in trouble for just thinking about something. Like we're advocating that it's not a real crime, and we're advocating the fact that it's a very tricky, fine line to try to navigate when every single time someone gives a bad review and being like, fuck this place, I hope it burns down because they got a bad pizza in it, they're pissed off. And they say that in a review, that all of a sudden now that some sort of AI system is going to ping that. You're literally we're talking about what the NSA would do when it came to the phrases and terms people would look up for words like fertilizer. They would have these words that were ping words that would notify a government agency, and if that word was pinged, they would go and scour through all of your information. So instead of human beings doing that, we're just okay with this an AI algorithm doing that, where at least when it's humans, like they can discern sarcasm. An AI system isn't going to be able to. I mean, if you're okay with every time you're from Florida, I'm assuming if you're a sports fan, you like
just
Florida,
ask Grok.
Florida State, and every time you say Alabama sucks, I hope they all say something stupid about the football team, and then all of a sudden now you have the FBI knocking on your door.
You're under
arrest. Look what's happening in Britain right now. Look what's happening in Britain, because people are just saying things that the government doesn't like. All of a sudden, people are getting arrested. Like, obviously, that's extenuating circumstances. And I'm not just trying to say that that's what's going to happen here. But you're just talking about the government pilfering through your stuff more than they already do. And if you're okay with that, then it's like, all right, fine. It just goes back to our mantra of whether you're on the left or the right. People love fucking authoritarianism.
Yes, they do. Everybody loves authoritarianism as long as your authoritarianism is directed at the right people.
I didn't mean to create a caricature of you of Florida, MF. It's just I see
They're
these
used
things
to it.
often. I see these
They're
things
used to it.
often.
I'm in Florida enough. They're
You're
used to it.
I don't even know what that face means, but like, I think it means you got a chuckle out of that.
All I
Maybe.
know is like this needs to be
Either way,
this
thanks for
fucking
following.
This fucking thing needs to be rallied against so hard. This is such a violation of civil liberties. Absolutely not.
Sure, because this is what we give the the FBI billions of dollars for what they're already supposed to be doing. And every time there's a mass shooting, everyone goes, there were signs. And it's like, who fucking knows there were signs but didn't say anything?
And then you find out the feds were involved.
Yeah, not so much in the mass shootings, but when it comes
Not
to like
so much in those
kidnappings of governors and
yeah. Fucking 14
agitating
people were
agitating people in riots to throw bricks just to make one side or the other look bad. Infiltrating groups of people who are just out there just saying, hey, the government shouldn't do this.
Gideon, not good, and Aaron Cohen is an evil man. For A, creating this, and B, trying to push it on.
Well, it's not even, you know it's not a good faith. You know he's doing it just to make a buck.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, that's capitalism for you.
You're just gonna get a bunch of kids who weren't gonna do anything now all of a sudden on lists. And you talk about, like when it comes to minority groups, like the prison, the school to prison pipeline. Like, congratulations, you're making that better.
Oh, shit, buddy, I gotta dig a little deeper.
Like, I remember in 8th grade, I made a hit list, like, as a joke. It was clearly a joke because it was
you
like
should
my
not
friend...
be saying that online right now with Gideon out there.
I know Gideon's gonna bust me.
I was there
for something I said.
Now you're both
fucking 22 years ago. But like, and it was like McDonald's for putting ketchup on my burger. And then like my friends, like it was a joke. We'd be sitting there and like my friend would say something. I'm like, oh, well, you're on the hit list. And
Come on now, you expect me to believe that?
I was in one of my classes, like showing somebody as a joke, and my teacher like caught wind of it and came and grabbed it. And I could have gotten expelled, but she like looked at it and saw some of the absurdities on it. And I was like, for real, it's a joke. Like I remember like almost shitting my pants and like I was pale in the face. I was like, this is a fucking joke. She goes, if I take this to the principal's office, she goes, you're done for. You realize that? And I was like, yeah. And so she basically in a roundabout way said, please don't shoot up the school. I'm pretty sure you're joking. Don't ever write this stuff on paper ever again. And she crumpled it up and threw it away.
If you see something, say
I
something.
didn't know she was black.
Do you think she has regrets?
Regrets?
Why? No, she wouldn't
Why?
have regrets
Like
because I never.
But like, just like, what if? Like, do you think she lives like what ifs in her brain all the time? Like, what if he was? You know?
What if Corey Walsh, the goofball class clown, who right now there's a rumor going around about him that he masturbated in class, is actually a school shooter?
That's not as
maybe. You know what? I remember one time I saw that same teacher in 17th Street drinking a beer by herself, crying when I was with my grandma and grandpa who were visiting.
She's crying about you,
but it was 2 years before I met her,
and she was going, "How do I reach these kids?"
And then 2 years later, there's one writing a hit list in her class.
You can just shut up, baby, because you hate America and you love abortion.
That's what she said in return.
No, what she said to me it was,
life isn't about getting drunk and eating chicken fingers all the time, all right?
Oh yeah.
In 7th grade, I was like, you know what? You're right.
Where's the applause drop? Can we get a round of applause for yeah, there we go. Can we get a round? That round of applause was for Congressman Jerry Nadler, 10th District of New York, 79 years old, announcing that he will not be running for re-election because he thought that the Biden fiasco was just too much, and we need
all
a younger
senior
generation.
citizens should have life alert.
Agreed, especially Joe Biden, and perhaps I guess now Donald Trump.
Well, Joe
Jerry
Biden
Nadler
life
stepping
alert.
down.
He has 8 people around him at all times, just making sure he doesn't slip and fall in the shower. My dad, on the other hand, should probably have life alert.
Fucking white people.
So yeah, Jerry Nadler stepping down because it's just too much. The oldness is just getting too up there. That's all I had. You want to get to your TikToks?
I guess. Let's see how this goes.
Do you have them or does Bell have them?
All right,
Bell has them, right?
They're in the private chat.
Okay.
So-
I wasn't sure.
First one's just fun. Has anyone been following the Cardi B civil case recently about someone trying to charge her with assault?
Not as closely as I should have.
I don't know shit about it, but here are some highlights from her court case, and I think it is the funniest fucking thing. Watch Homegirl like on the stand. It's just so goddamn funny. Go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage, Bell.
Call you Miss Almanzar, Cardi B, or it doesn't matter?
I mean, you have been calling me Cardi B. I was a little like, I don't want a guy that I work with to know I'm going to a vagina doctor. You following me, you're recording me. I'm just trying to check my cat.
Are we having a verbal altercation?
We having, we'll see, a debate.
Very successful, very rich.
And which one is your real hair? Or are they both real?
Yes, this is her real hair because she came out with black
Because
hair.
I'm pregnant and this girl's about to beat my ass. Hello?
Hello. Hello, I'm here.
I was looking at her face, but I wasn't looking like, she got a pimple over there?
What was that?
I said, that's lie. Out of here. Just trying to get some money.
Who's trying to get some money?
She is.
How do you know that?
Because she sued me for $24 million.
Oh, shit, buddy. I got to dig a little deeper.
Absolutely.
How do you know that?
He said, "Is she bigger than you?"
Look, I mean, you have her medical records,
I
right?
don't have anything. I'm asking you the question.
Seriously
I was
overweight.
130 pounds at that time.
So she's overweight, right?
Bullshit in your
Just
underpants.
a little,
You don't need to answer me. Okay.
Is that it?
Dude, there was one there where they're like, "What do you mean? What did you mean by how she was built like a security guard?" And he's like, "Well, she's like, well, shit, look at her. I mean, she built like she's there to secure a building." Like,
And he
dude,
takes
there
the
was
fat,
so many-
the fat
Dude.
shot drug.
It was out of control. You kept playing fucking sound effects, but the lawyer was like, "Oh, you were in here with black hair yesterday. Like, why is your hair blonde today?" And she's just like, "What the they're wigs." Like,
Seriously overweight.
it was, I don't know, it was fucking hilarious.
I
just found it like right before the show.
What else we got?
So the next one, it's something you actually shared in the group chat.
Ah,
Ben.
yes. Used cars. Why can't we find them anymore?
Go ahead and play that one, Bell.
I like this guy's
trucks from like the mid 80s through the 90s that like you grew up remembering everybody's mom and dad and grandma having, but you just don't see them anymore. It's because in 2008 the government did this thing they called cash for clunkers, and it was supposed to be, you know, this jump start for the economy after the housing crisis. And while it did do that, you know, everybody was getting car loans, because basically what the government said was, well, you bring in your clunker, your not as good a gas mileage, you know, blah, blah vehicle, and we'll give you a $3,000 or $4,000 credit towards a new vehicle. But what people didn't realize was those vehicles they traded in, they didn't just go into the used car market. They were required to be destroyed. You can go down the YouTube rabbit hole of seeing some of the vehicles that got traded in that were just, they were nice. There was nothing wrong with them. but they went to the crusher because they were part of Cash for Clunkers. When we talk about the government stepping in and, you know, their bright ideas, the one thing that nobody ever thinks about is the consequences that'll come. You know, the used car market. It's the reason why when I was in my 20s, you could easily buy $1,000 car that you could just drive and work on. And that was my bread and butter for years, buying $1,000 cars and flipping them, fixing them up and flipping them. Then after the 2008 Cash for Clunkers, it's when I got out of messing with cars, because the 4-door 60s car that I used to be able to buy for $1,000, well, the ones that were still left were now $2,500, $3,000, $4,000. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things I think about all the time, and I don't think many people do think about it. The fact that we single-handedly wiped hundreds of thousands of good vehicles off this earth, all because the government gave us a rebate for doing so.
Yeah, and one of the things too, Corey, that he didn't mention, probably just because I'm sure he knows it, but he just didn't really get to it, was the fact that, I don't know if you remember this, but I turned 16 in 2005, right? So I started driving 3 years before Cash for Clunkers, and my first car was a 1991 Lincoln Continental, dude. Just this gorgeous little boat, huge boat that I fucking loved that car. I would have kept driving that car, but eventually it did sort of break down. I had to get rid of it. But like, I couldn't go out and find another one of those. They didn't exist anymore. And one of the things that he didn't mention was, if you remember Cash for Clunkers in 2008, we're sort of at the end of the Bush administration, right? We're at the height of Afghanistan. We're at the height of Iraq. We're at, most importantly, $4.35 gas prices, upwards of $5 gas prices in 2008. I don't know how many people remember that, but yeah, it was that expensive for a big chunk of that time frame. So when you have the government saying, we're going to give you a rebate for your shitty gas mileage car to go out and buy a new, really good gas mileage car, everybody jumped on it. Why wouldn't you?
Right.
Why wouldn't you? If I can get $4,000 towards a new car, but I'm going to get, 35 miles to the gallon in some cases on the highway, as
when
opposed
gas
to
was $4.
When gas
in like
was $4, you're going to
2008,
take advantage.
like that'd be
Yeah.
like $6 or $7 in today's dollars.
You're going to take advantage of that. And so his point is so well, because I've never really been a car guy. I've got car guys in my family. I know you do too. And like, the amount of one of the most easy memories that I have just from my childhood was going to my grandpa's house, and my dad was always in that garage because we didn't have a big enough garage at our house, so we'd always go to my grandpa's house to work on cars all the time, just all the fucking time. Every weekend, my dad was working on a friend's car. He was working on a car that, he had, bought for me when I became a teenager and was able to drive or whatever. And then like ever since then, he still does it from now and again, but not like he did back then.
Right.
Nobody can work on a car anymore.
Nope.
The big three and the car companies took serious advantage of this by upgrading the technology in all the cars to a point where you have to take it to the dealership. You have to take it to a shop. You don't have a choice. You can't work on it, even if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, unless you have all the specialty tools. Like right now, like all I really do is like, if I had a drive, like if I had an actual like yard where I could like effectively get rid of oil without it being a hassle, I could change my oil. But I change my brake pads.
You can.
I'll change a window motor. Simple things like that.
Drop it in
like,
an oil. I'm going to tell you what to do. I'll tell you what to do. This is what I do. Drop it in an oil pan like you normally would, like one of those plastic oil pans.
And just pour it down the drain.
No.
That's what I've been doing.
All you do is when you put the new oil in, you put the old oil in the jug that you just got the new oil in, you just take it back to the auto parts store. They'll recycle it for you.
Oh, no shit. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know. I mean, like I've changed the throttle body. Like I've still worked on cars personally, like since then. But like the idea of removing like close to 700,000 cars, cheap cars that were older, and replacing them with newer cars, you're giving such a disadvantage to an entire swath of the economy that actually worked within those moving parts of those cars.
Absolutely.
And you're removing the availability for a large swath of a poorer sect of consumers who now can no longer afford a car. Because when you remove that many cars from the economy, all the ones that remain become that much more valuable. And the only time we saw anything
inflation.
And the only time we saw anything close, well, actually, this one was the only one that was close to the other one, is when all the supply chains were interrupted during COVID. And both of them were government mandated. Both of them created supply shocks, and both of them disparaged poor people the most. And it's just, if you care about people just trying to achieve the American dream and trying to just make it and get that extra step up in the bullshit capitalist economy that we have right now, and I'm not saying that as from the left, I'm saying that from like a libertarian standpoint, that our economy is so kneecapped and held up by crutches that affecting the poorest people, it's immoral, and it's like the money moves up and down. You know, you talk about the velocity of money when it comes to an economy, and if you're kneecapping an entire link in that chain, you're at the position where now you couldn't. Just
not to add to what you're saying. It's not even just poor people. It's those middle class jobs that worked at those mechanic shops, that worked at those body shops, that now had to shut down because they can't afford the tools and the technology necessarily to work on these new cars. It's just another way of shrinking the middle class, right? Which is what the government always does when they come up with these, as he said in the video, bright ideas to give people things, right? We're going to give you money towards a new car. And I don't blame people for jumping on that, but you have to understand the consequences. And obviously at the time, I was too young to understand it. I was a dumb 20-year-old kid that wanted socialism at the time, as a lot of 20-year-old kids do. I've since grown out of that. But like, yeah, it's just this shrinking of the middle class in something even as simple as taking thousands, or whatever he said, hundreds of thousands of used cars out of circulation.
According to the Automotive Aftermarket Industry Association, $3 to $5 billion was lost in aftermarket and mechanic work after the Cash for Clunkers program was initiated.
Yeah. I mean, think about it, Corey. Like, and we're keeping in mind
auto parts suppliers, salvage yards, independent
for
mechanics.
For people that don't know, if you're new to the show, Corey and I are from the Detroit area, right? Motown, the Motor City, right? We are the city that made the country move. Corey, speaking as like suburban Detroiters, how many like independent mechanic shops do you see out there nowadays? They're around. Don't get me wrong. You can find one, but not like you did 20 years ago. There was one on every goddamn corner. Every gas station had a garage in it. How many of those do you see? Again, a couple. They're still around, but not like you saw back in the day. All those jobs gone. I didn't mean to get into this intensive a conversation, but I'm glad we did.
There's a 2 to 3% shrinkage, dude, in the industry. And it's just, like I remember my first car I ever bought, and this is in 2007, $400.
Yeah.
Good luck finding a car for $400. Good luck finding a car for
that you can drive.
$800. Make it a 100% increase.
That you can just go transfer a title, grab the keys, and drive away. Sure,
Right.
it'll have even back then. It would. Yeah, of course it had
Sure,
problems.
you might have to drive with 2 feet because the injectors are bad, and you have to keep you have to rev the engine up to a 2,000 to 3,000 RPM to keep it moving with the other foot on the brake pedal. Sure,
But it moved. It got you from
but
point
it
A to point
moved.
B.
I don't think my parents loved me for letting me get in that thing, but the point still stands.
My Lincoln was awesome. I love that car. Oh,
Dude,
it's
my
such a great
Aeros,
car.
yeah, the Lincolns are dope, but my Ford Aerostar was, I made that thing kind of cool.
You got
Dude,
any
I
more
fucking
TikToks?
I took out the middle
Oh,
seat.
you got another story.
I took out the middle seat and then I put house speakers in there hooked up to an amp, but on each speaker I added like 15 to 20 feet of like speaker wire and they weren't mounted. So like if I pulled up to like the beach or something, I could take the speakers and put them outside the car. It was fucking cool.
That is so trailer park.
Oh, dude, that car was fucking awesome. I loved that thing. I had so much fun in it. A lot of space for activities.
Donnie, you're out of your element.
All right, so this next one, the guy is criticizing the Democratic Party, but from the left, and I always like that because I feel like that resonates more with Democratic listeners.
He's just a bought and paid for Republican shill.
Right. I'm glad you say that, Dan. Go ahead and roll that bell.
Ask a liberal why Kamala lost the 2024 election, and you will find out just how conservative they really are, and how they would rather bend over backwards to appease the Republican Party than move left on a single issue. Consider their very best excuse that Kamala Harris lost the 2024 election because it's really true. But if it came down to her identity and not her politics, because God knows she should not have changed her politics, right? That would mean that the liberal thinks the party should nominate. But they will never say that out loud, because part of being a liberal who thinks like this is thinking like a Republican, but not talking like a Republican. Their next excuse is that the party has become too woke, which by now we know is code for trans people should shut the fuck up, because how pragmatic liberals will be with other people's rights. And they say this thinking that Republicans will give them credit and bring an end to the culture war, because part of being a liberal is having a loser's mindset. But their favorite excuse, more than any other, is to say without evidence that leftists cost Democrats the election, as if there's a huge contingency living in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, that didn't show up to vote that day. And the idea here is that leftists are so powerful that they can swing elections, but not powerful enough that we should cater to them. In fact, we should bash on them like Republicans. And they do all of this because they would rather curry favor with the fascists than the leftists.
You know what my favorite thing he said in that was? Being pragmatic with other people's rights.
Mhm.
Make no mistake, this is a right-wing and a left-wing problem.
Yeah.
But I do like the way he came at that, came with that from the left against Democrats.
Oh yeah, I like how he said when it coming from the left is the left is the ones that are always spoiling the Democrats' election, and they're powerful enough to do that, but not powerful enough to sway the policies of that party.
Yet, is there a Republican equivalent of that? Like, do Republicans blame like people
I
that
don't
are
think so.
a little bit too far right?
No, they fucking embrace the farther right one.
For swinging elections? Yeah, because anybody
Fuentes
all the
and
way over
Alex
there.
Jones. Well, even I wouldn't even say Alex Jones, but like Fuentes and all that were making these little resurgences. And
Yeah, Alex Jones isn't really a right winger, which a lot of people don't understand, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But yeah,
so this
no.
next one I found interesting. You know who Hanoi Hannah is, right?
Maybe.
Okay, so before you play this, Bell, a part of the guerrilla tactics during the Vietnam War by the Viet Cong was playing these tapes of these.
Oh
this
yeah.
girl
She's the
saying this
Vietnam
shit.
tapes girl. Yep. Okay, I
Yeah.
know who that is.
Yeah, So check this out. I just found this interesting because I'm wondering, like, did the Viet Cong ever picture this happening in America?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and play that, Bell.
She asked, why are you here? You should be at home with your honey, eating hamburgers and drinking milkshakes. The longer you are away, the more chance there will be that she will be with another boy. No one loves you. No one cares. You are alone. The government has abandoned you. They have ordered you to die. GI, do not trust them. Defect, GI. It is a very good idea to leave a sinking ship. People do not like it. Your family sees you as an animal. This is not paying you to know your sacrifice means nothing to your people. You are not fighting for the security of your country. You are fighting for the profit of the few rich who need you to die so they can buy bigger houses. They will give you a medal, GI, but only after you are dead. Your government lies to you every day, poor soldier.
So, for the people at home that are just listening, what that video was is people blasting the Hanoi Hannah tapes, which was a propaganda used against American soldiers in Vietnam who were in the guerrilla war conflicts. And they were playing it to National Guardsmen at DC who were in camouflage wearing orange vests, which is
Picking up trash.
kind of a paradox.
Yeah.
Picking up trash.
That's those GIs were really camouflaged. A deer couldn't see them.
Yeah, a deer, but that's about it.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because it's almost full circle. She kind of got what she was asking for.
Yeah,
Just
that's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I thought.
70
It was
years
really
later,
funny.
60 years later, whatever it's been.
The last one we don't got to play. We already beat that one to death. It's about the 4 Republicans who were voting with the Democrats about the Epstein list.
Is it interesting?
I mean, I guess it's kind of interesting. He's just basically regurgitating what we said. So go ahead and play that one, Bell. We'll play it for
Just
Dan.
go ahead and roll it. Whatever. I haven't seen it.
If I said the names Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace, you would think I'm naming some of the worst people in Congress in no particular order. But actually, those are the only 3 names that are joining Thomas Massie in a petition to force a vote to release the files. And right now, Trump and his White House are blocking that measure. They're absolutely stonewalling it and saying any Republican who jumps on this, signs this petition to force a vote on the release of the files is basically a hostile act. They're acting in a hostile manner and they will be targeted essentially. If there are no files and there's no issue, Donald Trump's not in the files, then why are they coming after Thomas Massie in this petition so hard? There's also saying, oh, this is a repetitive measure. We already have something like this on the floor, and this makes no difference. Then why is the White House, why is Donald Trump, why is the DOJ coming after these Republicans in Congress and threatening them? They are being threatened. So somehow the 3 worst members of Congress are the 3 of the ones that are sticking their necks out on this and actually fighting for the truth. I find myself aligned with these people very, very, very infrequently, basically this one time. But yes, I agree. Sign the petition. Release the files. This is absolute bullshit. And what Donald Trump and his White House are doing right now is nothing short of a cover-up.
A little bit more hyperbolic than we put it, but yeah, more or less.
We'll have to look up his
More or less
name.
what we
I
said.
wonder if he's paid by Chorus.
Ah, yeah, could be. Well, let's just go. Let's pull up the latest David Pakman episode and let him tell us. I don't have anything else, Corey. I mean, I do, but
That's all I got.
nothing prudent.
What do you how do you think this game's gonna go Saturday?
Oh, for God's sake. I don't know. I really don't. I
Put it
expect
in the
Michigan to
books.
lose. I expect
Yeah,
Michigan.
I expect Michigan to lose.
I expect Michigan to lose.
I'm hopelessly
However,
optimistic, but they're probably gonna lose.
hopefully optimistic.
Hopelessly.
Okay. Yeah, I think they're probably going to lose, but Bryce Underwood looks good. they could keep it close. I don't know. I will tell you this. I will have a very, very happy demeanor when we jump on the show next week if Michigan can find a way to pull out a victory in Norman, Oklahoma.
That's basically took the words right out of my mouth, then.
I am keeping my expectations for this Michigan team in check. Because I have said if they can go into that Ohio State game with 2 losses, I'll be very, 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 very satisfied with the season. I think Oklahoma is going to be one of those losses, and they're going to drop one somewhere. It could be Nebraska on the road. It could be USC on the road. But I don't have a whole lot of faith in USC, and I don't think Nebraska is very good either. So
I know Ohio, Oklahoma's like basically match for match, like where we're at.
Yeah, no, it's kind of the same thing. They're both teams that are trying to prove something. Mm-hmm. I will say this: I am very, very, very happy with Bryce Underwood's performance on Saturday. I thought Bryce Underwood looked like a junior quarterback making his first start. He looked better than Arch Manning did for Texas.
He sure did. I would even say he looked better than Julian Sayin.
Yeah,
he won, but
neither of those teams, Ohio State nor Texas, really impressed me. But I can tell you this: I've never seen a freshman quarterback come out and look that prepared. Especially a guy who just turned 18 six weeks ago. Did he blow me away? No, but man, he
reminded you what a forward pass was coming from Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, did he look like, Joe Burrow in the national championship game? No, but Joe Burrow was a senior, and Joe Burrow was a veteran, and this was basically a 17-year-old kid going out there spinning it, and he did. He spun it well.
Dude, he was throwing ropes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that the receivers remembered what a forward pass was because of the way some of them were dropping them.
He looked very, very good, and it was very, very promising. But why don't you tell the people where they can find us, Corey, since this isn't a sports podcast? Although we didn't lose any viewers in that Michigan Wolverine football brief discussion.
We didn't. Libservative Podcast is found on all social media podcast platforms. Our website is libservativeshow.com. We can be found at Libservative on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, Instagram and Twitter at LibservativePod. Our TikTok videos can be found at Libservative Podcast, and you can reach out directly at libservativepod@gmail.com. Subscribe today.
And tell a friend. You might have said that already, but I wasn't paying attention.
I didn't, but do that.
It's been Libservative. Intellectual idiots fostering political and cultural literacy. And the world's smartest podcast. For Bell the Body Snatcher on the ones and twos, he as always has been Corey Walsh.
And he's Dan Griffin.
And until next time, we are out of here.
The great fundamental issue now before our people. We, the people, cannot turn back. Somebody must lead, or else the fight would not be made at all.